Hi, Tessa.
Hi, Mallory. What's up?
Not much. So, my everything in my English class this semester is based off of a social issue of our choosing. So, I'm doing teen pregnancy, and I know that you have experience with a teen pregnancy. So,
That I do.
I just have a few questions. If you're not comfortable answering any of them, just feel free to tell me no.
Cannot? Okay.
Yeah, you could just say no, I don't want to answer that, and that's totally okay. It's not
Okay.
a problem. So my first question is, did you ever receive any safe sex education in high school?
Yes.
Okay. Like how to have safe sex, or or just like to use a condom or to use birth control, or were you more taught abstinence?
Well, at home, I think I was taught abstinence.
Yeah,
But, I was taught about condoms.
of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, and then how did it affect your life short term?
For, like, being pregnant?
Being pregnant and then being pregnant. How did that affect your life in more of the short term rather than, yeah.
Short term.
Obviously you were pregnant, so there were differences with that, but, yeah, if you don't know how to answer that, that's okay. I understand that that's a kind of a weirder question, but
Short term. I'm trying to think of a good way to answer that.
yeah.
You know, it was kind of like, because I ended up placing the baby for adoption,
Mm-hmm.
I almost felt like a surrogate mother.
Yeah.
So
That's-
it was, I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it. Like,
Yeah, that's interesting.
For 9 months you're pregnant, you carry the baby. So of course that was kind of just a short term thing that I went through, like years later. Now that I look at it down the road, it's been 15 years. It's
Yeah.
not like that was really a short period of my life,
Mm-hmm.
but it was probably one of the toughest 9 months of my life because I struggled with what I was going to do for so long.
Yeah.
I didn't decide that I was going to place the baby for adoption for, I think I was like 7 months pregnant when I
Oh my
finally,
goodness, yeah.
when it hit me, when I finally, and it took a lot of praying, and it like took that whole time for me to really decide what I was going to do. And,
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, I kind of felt like a surrogate mother once I decided that that's what I was going to do. So
That's kind of cool. Like, I think that'd be kind of an interesting experience. But, obviously not one that you'd like to have at that age.
no, I
But-
don't recommend it. It was tough.
Yes. And then how do you think it affected your life long term? So now that you've given her up, and just how have you seen that affect your life?
So people look at like adoption two different ways. People can look at it negatively or positively, and I feel like unless you've been directly impacted by adoption, it's like hard to understand, because when I was pregnant, I had a lot of like judging people
Yeah.
that had no idea what I was going through. But after going through it, I feel like I for sure was supposed to go through that and be in that situation. It changed me for sure. And I feel like it changed me for the better, because
Yeah.
when I actually placed that, after I gave birth to Brielle, and I actually I actually got to hand her to the family.
Oh, that's
So that was kind
awesome.
of a cool experience, because I was giving them a gift that they couldn't get,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Yeah,
So
it does.
it's kind of changed me in that way, that I was able to give them something that they couldn't have.
Mm-hmm.
And even my parents had a really hard time with it, but when they were in the room and saw that and were able to talk with them and see
Mm-hmm.
how they were reacting to it, and that, hey, this is something that they can't have on their own. This is how they
Yeah.
have children, is through adoption. So it just was kind of a cool thing
That's amazing.
for me personally to experience that, and to be able to give them a gift
Yeah.
that they couldn't get.
And to really just ensure that you make the right choice and whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome.
For sure. A lot of birth mothers I know, I heard some weird statistic that like almost 90% of birth mothers end up like changing their mind and keeping the baby.
Oh,
And
what?
so
Wow.
it's, yeah. And I don't know, maybe it's different now, but back when I just heard it was some crazy high number that most birth mothers like changed their minds.
Interesting.
And so, I mean, like I was telling you, a lot of prayer went into it, and the Spirit had like confirmed to me that that's what I needed to do.
Yeah.
And that's what I was supposed to do. And so my bishop at the time was like, you have to hold on to that feeling. You have to hold on to that. That's what you know is right to do, because a lot of birth mothers change their minds, because in the moment it's so hard. It's like really a life-changing decision if you're gonna keep it or not. Like it's just a life-changing decision.
Yeah. Awesome. And then do you feel you were ever treated differently because you had a baby at such a young age?
For sure. Yeah. It was hard because, I was 18. I was like at the tail end of Young Women's. And I was one of the older Young Women's that and your mom was my Young Women's president at the time, and she kind of helped out a lot with that. But there was a lot of judging girls in the Young Women's, and I knew about it. And it's because now that I'm older, I just know that they were younger and didn't really understand what was going on or what I was going through. Mm-hmm. And I think it's just easy to judge in any aspect of anybody sinning. Like, it's just easy to judge if you're not the one going through it. So, yeah, I definitely felt that way. I got some weird questions from some of the girls in the ward, and for sure, like, even later. But I did see some people that I went to high school with. Like, I graduated, and people didn't know I was pregnant yet. So, like, I got pregnant right before I graduated. Yeah. So I wasn't, like, showing yet or anything. But by, like, the time that like college was starting up, and anyways, I was seeing people, and I was growing and had a belly, and so it was like obvious what had happened. It was like an obvious, and I saw the looks, and I heard the whispers. Like, I heard what people were saying. I knew what people were saying about me. So for sure, I knew that people were judging, and it was hard. It was really hard. It was one of those things that you just had to learn to, like, hey, they don't know what I'm going through. They don't get it. And I do strongly believe now that things happen for a reason. Oh, yeah. Even though it was a choice that I made, but I strongly believe it. And that's why I love adoption so much, how that got tied into it, because it turned out to be a positive thing in the end, if that makes sense. Yeah, totally. Yeah. And you got to help out that family, so totally. Yeah, and they're great. They're like family to us. And we have an open adoption, so, and I know that not everybody gets to choose that. Well, and it's the parents that are adopting, they get to choose that. So, but they chose an open adoption. So, like, my girls have a relationship with her and everything, and so it's really cool. Like, we see them twice a year, and we have like, we exchange numbers, we call each other, so it's almost like we're family. So that's awesome. It's really cool. That would be so cool. And then, have you ever regretted your choice of giving Brielle up? No, I haven't. Okay, awesome. And then, any advice for teenagers now who get pregnant in high school, or who are just anything with that? Is it like for adoption? Is like adoption in it at all, or is it just for what adoption is definitely in it. So I'm for place the baby for adoption, but it was something that was right for me. Yeah. I think that I don't necessarily think it's right for everyone. Mm-hmm. So I guess my advice would be to strongly look at what's going on in your life. And I guess age kind of plays a part in it too. I mean, I was so young. Like, I don't know anyone even younger, but I've heard of younger pregnancies than that. But if they're even younger than 18, I am all for adoption. They have so much of their lives ahead of them. But also, I do feel like it's a personal decision that they kind of have to look inside. And I'm like, I don't know if we can involve religion in this, but it was something I totally prayed about. and had gotten that confirmation that that's what I was supposed to do. So
Awesome.
I am all for adoption. I really am, since I, experienced it firsthand.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how those families get babies and get to raise children. And
Yeah.
I'm obviously for that, but I'm also totally for, it's got to be the right thing for them.
Yeah. And you look at like Diane, and she had 3 kids by the time she was 20, and she kept,
Right.
and it was,
And she was
worked
young.
out. And it worked out.
She
for
was
her.
17, I think, when she had her first kid.
Yeah.
So,
That's insane.
I mean, so I don't know. It's a tough question. I'm for it, but I'm also totally for, I don't know. My advice would be that you just have to
it's totally,
look at your situation and
Yeah.
how your life is going, and you got to have that confirmation for yourself to make that decision. Because
Yeah.
I'm not going to judge someone that decides to keep a baby because maybe that was right for them or right for that baby. So
yeah, 100%. Well,
if that makes sense. I don't know if I answered your question.
no,
very well.
you definitely did. Yeah, that was all my questions, so that was perfect. I appreciate this. So
Yeah, you bet.
thank you so much.
You are welcome.
Have a good
Anytime.
night.
You too.
Bye, Tessa.
We'll see ya. Bye.